You need just to pursue your mission. I mean, and I think at the end, back then I was like, why people are so cash to tell you no straight, not even hearing, no interest or whatever. And I think with the time, I would say that it was a good teaching. So basically, life is not easy.
Welcome to the Swisspreneur Show, a podcast about startup stories and learnings from experienced entrepreneurs. Here's your host, Sylvan.
Andreas, a very well welcome to the Swisspreneur Show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hi, Sylvan. Nice to see you today, and thank you for the invitation.
You're the co-founder and CEO at Batgroup, the Swiss leader in the home cleaning market. Before we talk about your entrepreneurial journey, I actually want to start with your personal background. You studied finance and commodity trading, and then worked as a shipbroker for a couple of years before founding Batmaid in 2014. So looking back, how did the young Andreas envision his future career?
So first, I did not want to go to university. So I wanted to start directly my first startup at 17, 18 years old. But my dad told me you need to do at least 2 years, all the university plus the master. Mm-hmm. Then you work 2 years, then you can do whatever you want. So, and when we arrived exactly at the 2 years after my master, basically I quitted my job the same day. So this is where I called my dad saying, okay, now it's time. Now I can get to do what I wanted to do since the first day.
Was it hard for you to stick through these times, all these years, to do something that, you didn't fully want to do, but your dad sort of said, that's the deal?
I mean, what is interesting about university is that you learn how to work, I would say, in one sense, mm-hmm. because you get quite a lot of pressure for the exams and things like this. In the same time, during the year, you need to pass the different things. Mm-hmm. And I think that was still a thing that I will tell my son or my girl, in case I have one, to do the same, because I think it's a good university of life. Mm-hmm. First, because you learn how to work, and then also you make a lot of friendship, and it's a time where you do some party. And I think this is quite great when you're young.
Right. Would you still do the masters, or would you say bachelor's is enough if you look back?
I mean, I think it's not a perfect way or how to do it. I think it's more from individual perception about what you want to achieve from your master, or what kind of study you want to learn more. Mm-hmm. And I think this is what is the most important about it.
Right. So then you worked as a shipbroker for the 2 years that you mentioned that were part of the agreement. Why did you then change for entrepreneurship? It was always clear for you. You said you always wanted to do that, but why did you then do it right after these 2 years? Was there a good timing or a good idea coming up?
I had no specific idea at this moment when I quitted, and I said, now it's time to make it happen. But I made my first, let's say, small business. I was selling some cap. I did it when I was 16 years old. So, and we sell thousands of cap a little bit everywhere in Switzerland. And that was my first experience that I had when I was really young. So I just say, let's start something. And then is where I moved to New York to basically see a little bit something else. And at the same time, to got some idea there.
And where would you say does your entrepreneurial drive come from? Is that just something that runs in your DNA, or did you have any role models or people that inspired you to pursue that path?
I think as entrepreneur, my inspiration will be Richard Branson. I think mm-hmm. this is really the one that I wish to look like. And basically, I think that what is interesting with entrepreneurship is that you're trying to build things which could be product or services for people, to help people to have an easier life, or as a new things that we're bringing to the people. So I think that's always interested me. It's how you can change things that you are used to use every day in a different way.
And you mentioned you then went to New York.
Yeah.
And legend has it that the Batmaid idea actually came out of your experience from New York. You started the company in 2014. So can you elaborate a bit more what happened in that time during your trip to New York?
Yeah, so when I was in New York, I wanted to make some shoes first. So basically, I was studying like all the way to how to make shoes. And after, at one point, I had like one of my best friend that came to visit me, and my flat was really a big mess. So I went on internet and I went to check how I could find a cleaner. And I found this website called Handybook by then, handybook.com, and now it's handy.com. And basically, you could book your cleaning lady or man in 2 minutes. Yeah. So basically, I did it. As a Swiss guy back then, I was like, I didn't have any trust of someone new coming to my place. So I stayed the whole cleaning, looking at every single detail that has been done. And basically, the cleaner was really friendly. It was like a really good experience. And I said, why we don't have these kind of things in Switzerland? And this is where the Batmaid idea came from.
Wow, amazing personal experience, really. And where have you actually met your co-founder, Eric?
So we met on a beer pong in Geneva, like around like more about the commodity trading area. So basically, he was working also in the commodity trading, and we had some let's say some close friends together that we knew, and basically we went to this beer pong party one time, and basically this is where we met.
So it's really the everything leading together, right? A personal frustration or experience in New York that you then see a market opportunity in Switzerland, friends from your study days, basically, coming together. So
exactly.
That's where Batmaid was born. You also say on your website that your primary goal at Batgroup is to fight the black market, because most or a lot of the cleaning services basically happens illegally because they are not, with the social securities, etc. They are not really taxed the right way. So you want to fight and change this. When did you first become aware of this issue, that this was really a big problem to solve on top of the personal experience?
That's a really good question. So when I got the idea, basically when I used the service in the US, and when I came back here, I didn't expect that Batmaid will have this mission. The first thing that we did basically at the beginning of Batmaid is that I did 3 months of cleaning courses, that you become like an expert in this area, and being sure that I know how to lead all the people that will come after with us. And by doing the classes, it was like we were 25, it was 24 women and me. And by discussing with this superwoman, basically, I understood like all the social impact that a cleaning company as ours will do in the future. And basically from there, we thought that we needed to do something more than just building a platform where you put like a matchmaking between clients and maids. It's more about like how you can change their life in a better way. Because all the people that were working in this class with me, they were all working on the black market. And they explained me the fear that they had every single day to basically go to work. And basically back then I didn't understood how that come from. So basically I discussed a lot with all these people, and the fear was number one, because basically they were afraid about like the legal system in Switzerland, and to get like to go in jail, or basically to get a huge fine. Which is still the case if you were like trapped by the police. Basically you get a huge fine for that. And I say, okay, how we can change that? And I say, why you don't work in a normal cleaning companies? They say that's quite hard for us. We're scared to make this big step. And I think that when we saw that, it's like a matter of like how we can educate a bit better these people about their rights, because they have some rights even in the black market. And our goal, I think, from this day was like, how can we become a social company? It's not only become like a startup or scale up or like something that is really fancy, but more about like a social aspect, about like how we can change their world. So basically they can really get the most of their life at the end. And this is where it comes from the name Batmaid also. I mean, Batmaid, heroes from the shadow. I mean, this is really like, he's not only the shadow from basically the fact that our clients are almost never at home when the cleaning lady or the cleaning man pass to do the cleaning, but it's more about like the black market also. It's like heroes that goes to fight against, like that works in this big shadow that we need to turn into light. And this was our goal to put this name on it. So.
Wow, I love that. That's a wonderful story. And can you also talk a bit more about how Batmaid actually helps to, combat the black market and what sort of benefits that you offer for both sides in the end?
Yeah, I think just the difference between black market and like a normal cleaning company, I would say, in Switzerland is first that if you get retired on the black market, you don't get anything after you're 60 and something.
Right.
That's number one. If you're sick, you don't get anything. If you have an accident, you don't get anything. And you need even to pay the hospital for your accident itself.
That's an immense pressure, right?
Yeah, that's enormous. And more than that is also the fact that you don't have the fear to go to work also. Yeah. And and after you're also the second pillar that we put in place, but that's a huge story about that. But you have a lot of benefit to become like in a cleaning company because basically you're protected and we're trying to really make the best for them at the end. And what are we trying to do in order to communicate that to the maids? We have not been so great, I think, at that. We should do much better in the future on this. So this is something that we're launching, is a new initiative that we are launching that I cannot tell so much more today, but we're launching next year, something quite big in this area. So the goal is like how we can educate, but in the right way, not educating how we want the people to understand, but more about like the why people should look at working with cleaning companies and what their rights it is inside the black market, because they have some rights. A black market relationship is still a working contract, even if it's not signed or whatever, it's implicit. So it means that they have some rights back then. And if you look, we have like crazy story about maid that has not been paid for years. We're scared to ask their employer about the money, and we have crazy story every day that we have people that come and just crying about this situation. And our goal is that this kind of situation should not happen anymore.
It's also crazy because we think, these things, they happen, but not here in Switzerland, right? That's the general perception I sometimes feel, but
which is not the truth.
It's also here. So be aware, guys, like this is happening here in Switzerland as well.
80% of the cleaning market, on the house cleaning market, basically is done on the black market. 80%, which represent around 800 million to 1 billion only in Switzerland in salaries that is paid in the black market. Yep. And when you understand now in Switzerland, for example, if I take the one of the big polemics that we have right now with the Qatar, and like the fact that we should not go to Qatar, we should not look at the match because basically the human rights there are not good. But almost all, when you see, that is like hundreds of thousands of people using like black market services today. And basically, I'm sure that some of them are like criticizing Qatar and whatever. And at the end is like, if you look at the mirror, you say, okay, we still have some work to do here in Switzerland, not only in the Qatar, but only here in Switzerland to look back and to see what can we do better. Yeah. We need to do our word with the ethics of like how we employ people, how we manage people is in a better way.
Absolutely. And please tell a bit more, what are the benefits, but also the protections that you offer your employees? Because technically, everyone who does provide cleaning services at Batmaid is then employed directly at your company.
So we employ everybody today. So we have around 4,000 and something employees in Switzerland only. Protection is like first being sure that if they have any issues on a daily basis, they have someone to call. And it could be any issues. During the COVID, for example, that was like a great story, is that we put like a psychological team in place during the COVID, and we called every single person at least one time per week at the beginning, and then some people were every day. So we had people that was only working on this during the COVID, for example. So that's a kind of protection that we are trying to put in place for them. Now, what kind of other type of protection we can put is to being sure that you get paid at the end of the month and you get all the securities at the end. And when you get retired, you get some money back then, and you get the second pillar in case you're working a bit more than the 21,550 Swiss francs per year to get on that. But that's our goal, and that's the protection and the mission that we have.
That's also a huge responsibility on your shoulder at the same time. You are responsible for 4,000 employees to make sure that you help them when they're in need, when they're going through a crisis like COVID. Is that sometimes also too much for you, on a lot of pressure on your shoulder?
I think, when you're in startup or scale up, the problems, you don't get less problems. You just get more complex problems through the time. Yeah. So I think that the right answer is not, the pressure, I think, is always there for any kind of entrepreneur. It's just that depending on which business you're on, it will depend a little bit.
Fair point. And what happens if a customer is not satisfied with the job that the person who did the cleaning performed? What sort of process happens there?
So we have a customer service that is based in Switzerland, and we have around 30 people that reply by phone and emails every day. So we receive around 1,000 phone calls per day, and we send around 1,000 emails per day. That's basically the rate that we have. And we take care in case we have some issues like this, or we reimburse the client, or we try to find a solution. We give him a voucher. It's a case by case thing. We ask photos all the time, of course, because the employee in any case will be paid, because that's sure. Our job. So the thing is that after, how do we deal with the maid in order to train her, in order to perform better in the future, and how we follow up this thing. And this is things that we're also right now changing a lot of new things there. So, which is quite exciting.
So we stay tuned for the announcements then. I assume that's also vice versa. So also if a cleaning agent has problems at a location that they do the cleaning, they also have your support with someone to contact and to help them out.
So until now, we were at 39.9 Swiss francs, but now we had like huge increase of salaries all over Switzerland that has been announced. And we have our cost that is going up by 7.5%, at least, between the VAT that is going up. And I'm speaking about the client side, and not on our side, but really on client side. So we had like the VAT that is going up in 2024. We have the increase of salary by 7.5% over 2 years. We have our own charges that is going up, which is salaries, which is the rent that we're paying, the electricity and things like this. Right. So we will increase our price next year for almost every client. And the goal is not to make like extra margin on every people. The goal is just that we need to put these charges back to the client's place, because otherwise we cannot afford that.
Because I can imagine it's not a high margin business, right? And in the end, you are selling hours, and these hours have a direct variable cost. You don't have like economies of scale.
Exactly.
So there you have to do some good calculations to have a good business.
I mean, it's not a SaaS business, of course, so I will be super happy with that, but no. So no, we do a little bit less than 20% gross margin, which is low, I would say, inside like any kind of businesses. In a people business, as we do, I would say it's in the middle low range. I would say that a normal business will do more around 25 to 30%. That's an average thing that happens in our industry. But the thing is that since we tried to grow a little bit faster, basically we went a bit down with the price. But now with the time, we need to get more about the 25%, I think, in the future, which is something that is still low if you compare it to like some other type of business, electricity and these kind of things, where it's more like specialists that comes to your place, and this is more high business margin.
Right. And in that regard, what is your way or your path to profitability? You need the masses, right, to really be able to say we need a big mass to then have enough money to pay for everything.
So for next year, basically, we stopped a bit the growth now. We're still growing, but basically we stopped the growth at all costs to basically going in profitability mode. Why? Because the macroeconomic situation by itself, inflation, war in Ukraine, we don't know what the next 12 months reserved us. So I think that we're just looking to say, okay, how we can get like a safe business, basically, and going through like a big crisis in case something happen. And then we will start to basically put more investment on the growth again. But now first, the next 12 months is really about working on quality, efficiency of work inside the office, and basically really focusing on that.
So it's more focusing on profitable growth, so to speak, compared to growth at all costs, as you called it before. And when you increase the prices, do you have a sense or some data modeling for the price sensitivity or elasticity of your customers? Because if you increase the prices, some people always say, just double the prices. If you lose less than half of the customers, you're doing good. In that regard, you're probably not going to double the prices, as we heard, but do you have some sort of feeling what would happen now that you will increase the prices early next year?
I mean, it's never a good moment to increase the price, because when you do a business, you don't want to increase the price. You want to be the cheapest with the best services. I mean,
Of course, yeah.
like the 5-star, the 5-star at the price of the 3-star, you know,
Yeah,
you know, and that's how entrepreneur with basically the mission is to really get the best product ever, because you want to be the client at the end.
Sure.
And this is what any kind of clients expect at one point. Today, how we will price this is just by explaining that we have some cost that is going up, and basically it's not something that is not public. It's like we have newspapers talking about it and things like this, so it's nothing that's not public. So if people want to search, they will find that we have our cost that is going up quite highly. Sure. And our goal is to just make a good communication around that. And then, of course, I mean, if some clients say we're losing today, maybe we'll get them back tomorrow. But you know, you never know. And I think that we have some, we try to make some calculation about that, but it's really hard to know a perfect number. What does that bring at the end? Yeah. And I think today, like every kind of company in Switzerland is increasing their price. I mean, in the world, I would say even, it's like everyone is increasing the price. So I think it's not like an increase of price in a normal time, where people are more like, why are they increasing the price right now? Now today is that basically everything is increasing in price, and the salaries are also going up in one sense. So,
but at the same time, we also mentally, we're a bit in a crisis mode, right? You know, the economy not doing that well. So people might also think that, you know, having a cleaning agent is maybe one of the expenses that they do want to save to, you know, spare some more money in their personal budget. Is that a challenge that you think is coming your way?
It's a very good question. I think I had a cleaning lady since long time ago. Yeah. She's amazing and things like this. But for me, I will not cut this service before some others. I would prefer to not go to the restaurant maybe 1 to 2 times during the month and having someone doing this job for me than to be back to this job and going twice at the restaurant during the month. Right. That will be my own feeling. I think it's a personal thing. I think some people will cut a lot of things before cutting the cleaning, and some people is like the first thing they will cut is maybe that. Yeah. But on my side, on personal side, I will not cut that because I need it, and I don't have the time to get back on the cleaning itself. And it's not because I have like less money that basically my work is still the same amount of hours at the end. True. So I would say it's a personal thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I also love the feeling when you come home and your place is just clean and nice. That's a wonderful thing to experience.
I mean, that's the whole, is why we say now we had like customer experience and we say maid experience. I think that when we're doing Batmaid, is not just now we look more like a cleaning company than when we started. We had basically the excitation is true. We are employer of all these people. We need we have a lot of duties because of that. But it's also how we can change the way that we're doing this service. With what kind of experience our clients are looking for. Is it the smell that maybe the cleaning product could have like in the future at our client's place? Could be like to put like a chocolate. Is it like to have like SOPs, so really clear processes about like any kind of things that happen at the home of our client. So it becomes an experience. It's like, I always tell my guys internally that why people goes in a 5-star is not only because the bed is maybe better. It's for the experience itself. It's like what kind of experience you get when you go in a 5-star. How people speak to you, how people treat you, how the small attention here and there. And I think this is what we need to create in the future. So I think that we still have a lot of things to do there, and which is quite good. I love to do this kind of experience because I think this is where you really create a company brand at the end. It's like what kind of experience you want to make your client live from. So
definitely. Talking about the brand, that is a very important thing for you to also build trust in the market, right? And I feel that Batmaid, it's such a well-known brand. So basically, when someone is looking for a cleaning agent, I would assume that most of them would probably first land on your website because you have such a strong brand. How did you build that up over the past years? Because you have invested a lot. You see a lot of campaigns to really build that brand purposefully.
So thank you for thinking that everybody will come to our website. I hope so, but I don't know. I think that still a lot of people doesn't know us in Switzerland itself. And I think that we still have some job to do to be known better in not only in Zurich itself, but also in all the small areas, the small cities until 200 inhabitants in one village. Why we're not known there? I mean, this my goal is that we should serve anyone in Switzerland in the same way and with the same respect. And how to build this brand and to think. I mean, the marketing itself, of course, it's marketing after. And we did a lot of different things over the years. We tried many things. Some things worked well, some others not. We learn and we're trying to make what works well, like with the steady time, that how we do it.
Yeah. In that regard, we often talk to people who build the brand in like the US market or something. So there's a sort of a different ball game. But I'm really interested to learn more what worked well for you here in Switzerland, because you did a lot. I saw ads from Batmaid, of course, online. They were also like trams here in Zurich with the Batmaid logo on it. You had famous ambassadors that supported you. So what of these initiatives worked well for you and what didn't? Maybe have one or two examples each.
I would say that the first difficulty of Switzerland is we have 3 regions and 26 cantons. And I think this is the first big challenge that we have, is why you see that the Swiss French company, I would say, is not many that came to the German market. And if you take on our side, we're bigger on the Swiss German market than the French part now. Yeah. So basically we succeeded to really, and quite much higher here. So we succeeded to come here. I think I don't have a magic recipe, to be honest with you. It's hard to say what works really well or not. I think it's just like the passion to make it successful at the end. It's the passion to wake up every morning to say, we need the people to know us. We need the people to know us and to fight for that really hard.
Making a lot of noise, so to speak.
Yeah, in one sense, yes. Even if we're not good, I would say in maybe marketing area or whatever, we're not like so great on that. We could do even better. I mean, like as some other company, as Burger King or whatever, is really good at. But we just try to make our way with different tests and to see what works very well. I think like you spoke about Ambassador and the Martina Hingis that we have. I think it helped in one sense, like to measure exactly what's the impact on the business. It's so hard.
Yeah.
And when you take, like, I mean, it could be an influencer, it could be like Martina, whatever you take as people to represent your brand. I think the difficulty is like to get also the money after to basically make the communication about this brand ambassador.
Right.
And this costs quite a lot. And in Switzerland, I mean, you need to negotiate like in the French part, then the Swiss, the German part, then the Italianish part. So it's quite hard because you get pricing. I mean, the television here is super expensive because you pay like 3 times basically the different things. When if you go in another country, you pay one television and basically you get like the whole country.
Yeah, sure. That's a real challenge. Do you have any performance-based, negotiation tactics in that regard, or any discounts that you could negotiate with these ambassadors, but also like TV companies to really get your brand out there without risking too much money on a single bet?
I mean, the ambassador, the pricing is they all have their own pricing. So, and I think that they don't want to negotiate so much because they know the value that they have on the market. And basically this is a price that or you take it or you leave. So, then after it's like more about like, what do you want to do with this brand ambassador? For us, Martina, was key first because she speaks almost the free language. She's known in the free part of Switzerland. She's exactly our target group, which is like young mom. And we have a lot of young mom or young dads basically as clients. And basically for us, we're trying to solve their issue that they have no time anymore because of the children. And I think this is why we choose her because of this reason. And we look at some other people, but then after you had always the place that does the people know him, maybe, because you have like people that are known on the name, but when you look at their face, you don't know all the time who it is. I mean, you have this example in the hockey player, for example. You could have this example in the Swiss and the ski team. Swiss ski team, basically, because they always have the helmet. So it's like,
true.
it's only Lara Gut, I would say, that is quite known, or the old one, which is Didier Defago and, Didier Cuche,
Of course.
and the one that we were used to see with Ovo Maltin or whatever. So
Yeah, fair point. Let me ask you a quick question of different measures that you did in the past and if you would do them again. No further explanation needed, but I'm just curious.
Okay.
Would you hire another ambassador to represent you?
Another one
Like,
plus.
or would he do it again? I
Yes.
have to ask, yeah. Would he do the tram, huge advertising on the tram again?
Depending on the budget of the day, yes.
Okay. Would he do TV ads again?
Yes.
Social media ads?
Yes.
Print ads?
So media,
Media like newspapers?
less.
Less?
Much
Okay.
less.
Distributing flyers on like a main station or something?
Yes.
Okay. What would you not do anymore? One more thing that you wouldn't do anymore.
I don't think is that what we should not do is like how we can. It depends on the target group that we're trying to go with. Is the budget that you put in all of them,
Okay. Yeah, fair point.
and it will depend on the campaign. What is the goal of the campaign itself?
Yeah. So now we talked about building trust through your brand,
Yeah.
but you also have to build trust directly with your clients, of course, because you hire a cleaning agent
Yeah.
and then you let them in your home, right?
Yes.
How do you do that? Were there any, obstacles or trust issues at the beginning when you were starting out to really, make that work and have someone in your house that you didn't really know?
I think the trust is something that you build with time first, and is why at the beginning is always hard, these kind of businesses, because people say first is like booking through internet. So basically you didn't have a direct contact with someone that tell you like, this is a great service, trying to sell it, to explain you exactly what is the service about. But it's more about like you book straight in 60 seconds and then you wait and see who is coming to your place. So
Right.
I think it's quite like challenging when you start to get to this mode. I think now it's not the same as in 2015 when we opened the platform, because people are more used now to book on the internet and things like this. So, and then I think it's over time. You just need time to basically have some trust that people see you, they see that you are growing and that people are using you, and that you're trying to make your best.
Fair point. And do you also do any like quality checks with the cleaning agents that you hire? Do you do any like reference checks or any, check that they are?
Yes,
also
we do
performing?
2 big interviews of 45 minutes.
Okay.
And they're in physical, so we don't do them through Meet or whatever. And we check a lot of different points. We check all the references, we check the police record, we check the if you have been bankrupt, we check we check every single details of your relationship, because we're still sending people to our client space. So we need to have the trust based on the facts, and the fact is basically all the previous things that has been done.
Exactly.
And then on the cleaning side, is about experience too. So we don't take people that hasn't done no cleaning. It happens that some people, basically we got like some wrong things on the CVs, and we looked at after that because we saw that it was issue on the cleanings. So we're trying to make more checks on this. But now we're changing also the way, so we're making training from day one with all our new agent now. We're making now we will announce next year too, but we're making some new type of trainings that will change a little bit the way that we're doing it. We're trying to really improve the quality. Nice. The goal is like how we can get like a 5-star quality service at home.
Yeah. And talking about bringing both sides together, right?
Yeah.
The cleaning agents, but also the users, the people who need cleaning. You basically have the classic platform problem, right? You need to have a good ratio that people who are listed on your platform get booked, but also people who want to get a cleaning agent find the right agents and don't have to wait for ages. So how do you solve that? Did you focus on a specific ratio to have them, in a good balance, or how did that evolve over time since the start?
It's a good question. A lot of young entrepreneurs ask me the same question. So it's the chicken and egg problem, right. I think. But at the end, what you need is you need first your, I would say, the supply before the demand. If you have no supply, the demand will never come.
Right.
So I think that this is where you start from. So it's really about like hiring the right people, being sure that they're good, and then you send them to the clients. About the ratio, yes. So basically we know a little bit now what's the demand in per zip codes, depending on which frequency and things like this. So our goal is we try to hire in advance based on these different type of zip codes to get enough people to basically get availabilities to our clients.
Nice. And what was your strategy when you were launching out? Did you focus on like one city at a time to then expand from there and learn? Or did you try to go by region where you just said, for example, all over the German-speaking part of Switzerland, that's where you want to go and cover?
No, we started by Geneva and Lausanne only. And 40, I think it was 40 agents back then. Yeah. And went slowly at the beginning. I mean, the first day we expected some tens of bookings, but we got, I think, 3. 2 from France and 1 real new client. Yeah. So, but that's how it goes. And we grew from there. And you grow. And what you see is that you need to go in like larger area in order to start to make volumes. Because if you stay in a one single corner, you don't get it. After it's like how deep you want to go in your market. So on our side, we're trying to get deep in all the different type of market that we're doing here in Switzerland. But we still have some room for improvement there.
So Geneva and Lausanne was the starting point. When did you then decide to go out of there? What was sort of, the level when you said, now we're in a good position here and we can take these learnings and launch a new city or a new area?
I think we launched Zurich 1 year after. Yeah. And before that, we started to open like one city in the French part, so one city after one. So maybe it was Vevey after Montreux, maybe Nyon. So we started one small city after, and then until one place where basically we did the whole coast of the Geneva Lake. Nice. And then now today, if you take today, you come from Geneva to Zurich, it's not one region that we don't cover. So now we make a straight line, we cover all that type of region.
Yeah. Batmaid everywhere.
That's the goal. I think that if you want to make a proper service, serve everybody with the same respect.
And at the beginning, of course, you had to invest quite a significant amount of not only time, but also financial resources, right? To acquire clients, to build the business. But at the beginning, no investor wanted to give you money. What was the reason for that? Why? What was the feedback that you received in the early days?
So 2 things. I think on the first point is like on the investors. It was really hard to find any investor at the beginning. No one trusted that we could be successful by doing like let's say a cleaning company online like this. So no one trusted us. It's like tech first. We're doing cleaning, of course, but it's tech first because we have a lot of automation done by our software. And 1/3 of our employees internally are making software. So it's still, we are a tech company as a cleaning company in the same time. We have the operational with the tech, let's say. And I think that people thought that it was like a hard business to evolve in. I mean, you need to get a lot of people. So working with a lot of people afraid some people, because it means like more trouble, more problems on the road. So I think that was one. And number 2, you had like back then like a big US company called Homejoy. Okay. And Homejoy went bankrupt. I think 1-2 months after we started Batmaid.
Yeah, true.
And I think that people were scared that basically these businesses will not go far. Yeah. So that was another one. So no, the first investor basically was my former employer that basically invested, and then we had like a cleaning company that invested in us, a huge cleaning company, one of the biggest in Europe, that invested in us. And this is how we did. And basically we showed that the number were going up, and then we started to attract a little bit different type of people.
But this is fascinating because usually it's the other way around, right? For software startups, at least, they promise you high growth and everything. And then I think personally, the first round is probably the easiest because there you sell a vision and then you have to deliver. With your business case, they were all quite skeptical. But then once you started to deliver and the numbers were increasing, it got easier to actually attract investors.
We needed to show that what we were saying was true. So people say, okay, show me. And basically we show people, and then we got some more interest. And bigger we come, different type of investor came. So now we have the chance to have, like, for example, 3 companies that are listed on the Swiss stock exchange. So that's how we don't have any, let's properly speaking, VCs. So that's, I think, for me, on my side, I think it's a chance. I work more with entrepreneur, I would say. Like most of our investors are like entrepreneur. And I think is a nice setup, I would say, in this way.
And, you know, on the personal level, I can imagine that if you get rejected by the investors in the early days, that must be quite frustrating as a founder, because you believe in your vision, your product and service so much, and then you get rejected by the investors. Were you ever at the point where you said, come on, I tried, but that's just not working. Let's do something else?
I mean, you need just to pursue your mission. I mean, and I think at the end, back then I was like, why people like so cash to tell you no straight, not even hearing no interest or whatever. And I think with the time, I would say that it was a good teaching. So basically, life is not easy. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. Finding money is like one part of your job, but basically it is not easy. So if people think that it's easy to raise money, I mean, you have some area where it's easier to attract people, of course. But I would say on ours, it was like the least attractable business that people wanted to go in. So we said, okay, we need to show numbers and then people will come. We raised really few amounts of money in the beginning, really few. Yeah. So we were really like bootstrapping like every single thing that we tried to do. So that's how we grew at the beginning.
That's a very very intense start, a very difficult start also, because you have to be incredibly resourceful with whatever you have available to invest.
Yeah, I mean, our business is a complex one in the sense that you have tech, you have like a lot of operational business, you have a lot of human business, also human people inside. On the law thing, that it was a complex story when we started also with the law, so it was complex also on this one. I mean, yeah, you have like many areas where you need to be good. Marketing, how you do with zero money, you make growth. Right. Yeah. And today I still have some people coming to me, yeah, I need more budget to grow. And basically I say it's not the growth doesn't come from a budget. Yeah. The growth comes from a strategy that even with low budget, you can grow. And then if you inject more money, you grow faster. But it's not the other way around, is that money will makes you grow at the beginning. And I think we spend a lot of time with Eric at the beginning on the marketing side, how we can be efficient on every single action that we do. Mm-hmm. And it's by focusing on this, how to care about the money that you have in the bank.
Right. Yeah.
Cash is king.
Exactly. And cash flow is King Kong.
Exactly.
One thing I also want to talk about is the international expansion. You're now present in 8 countries, I think. And that's something that is also, very interesting to see, because it's still quite an intense process to set everything up. But at the same time, you also have a big software focus, which allows you to probably launch new markets faster. First of all, why did you decide to go abroad? Was the Swiss market just too small for your big vision?
I think long term, we want to become number one in the world. Yeah. That's still our goal. I would say that's a 10 to 12 years vision, but that's our goal. And by if you don't go abroad, I mean, the Swiss market is what is the Swiss market. I mean, it's a good one, but it's a small one. Yeah. And the goal is like how we can start to test a little bit outside of Switzerland. How does that works? To understand the regulation, understand how the people react to our services. To understand a little bit like how it is going outside. Mm-hmm. And I think that's not in the 2 to 3 next year at least, but later on, I think that the Swiss market will become our smallest market at one point. So the goal is like how we can become big in all around Europe and in other type of countries. So we will launch also next year another type of way to get faster in the world, and we'll see how that works too.
How do you actually select the markets that you enter with Batmaid? Do you have, of course, assessments and then probably also people on the ground, but what are the key points that you look at before entering a new market?
We're in a people business, and people today is a working contract. Mm-hmm. And what's the difficulty when we enter all this market is to understand all the working contract and how you can play with them through a platform. Sure. Because if you have like a B2B business and you know that every Saturday and you put like all your people and you can make it even on a whiteboard, easy. Sure. But how do you do with like a marketplace where you can people that cancel their cleanings, basically someone then you book the same day. So it's first you understand we put like a kind of algorithm about like how we can handle all the people in all the market depending on the working contracts. And that was the hardest part, I would say. Then the analysis that we did is like, what's the already like the how many people are using like cleaning services in this country? What's the prices? What's the margin? Is it any benefit from the states? For example, if you take France, you have 50% discount from the states on the cleaning hours in order to fight the black market. So it's one of the only, with Belgium, for example, in the Nordic countries, where you have like a huge incentive to not go on the black market. And it works. So instead of getting like 80% black market, 20% normal market, in France, you have 80% normal market, 20% black market, and which is great. And I think this is like where we understand a little bit all the different type of country and saying, okay, it's big market in one way, how we can enter all of them.
Amazing. Also, if you look at your current numbers, it's very impressive. You have more than 100,000 customers, over 4,000 employees, and I feel you're just getting started. There's so much more to come, so much more countries to be launched, and also big news next year in 2023. So what is next for the Bat people, for the Batgroup?
I would say again, the 12 next months is about focusing on quality and efficiency. Quality, how we do with our clients. So the whole experience about having a Batmaid at home, and also our customer service also. And then the quality with the mates. So how we can train better, how we can do better for all of them. So that's one big far. And then the efficiency is like how we can build software that solve daily problems that we have. And it's why like the next 12 months is not about like building new type of interface, making A/B testing on all the different things on the platform. The goal is really to fix our issue, to become basically like then solid for basically making the growth happen after. Because and this is the two main topics that we have internally.
And what is next for you personally? Because you're not only involved with Batgroup, you also have additional entrepreneurial projects that you're involved in.
So the challenge that I have is that I'm like more than 100% in Batmaid, and the other business, basically, I'm a co-founder, but I'm like a silent co-founder. Let's say it in this way. It's like more one of my partner that is doing a great job in wherever it is. And if you take maybe the hotel and restaurant, I have like a general manager that is taking care of it. So for me, it's only one call sometimes that basically I make the different things with them. I don't need to spend any time on that. That's the chance. Otherwise it will be, I've been difficult. I mean, the 3 last years, has been like quite hectic in terms of work, all the different projects that we put in place in the company. So it's why now we're taking these 12 next months to say, now we breathe. Time to breathe, we breathe a bit, we solve all the different issues here and there, and we really focus about our clients to how we can get the best experience for them.
Right. But it's amazing to also see what you are still involved with on the side. Right? Hotels, you have Gotham, the co-working space.
I went out from Gotham in 2019.
Okay, but you helped to initiate it initially.
I helped to initiate. I mean, it's always like this passion, as I said before, my passion to create and to improve things. I think this is, I like challenging and complex problems. This is what I like in reality. It's like more complex is the problem, like more interesting, I think it is.
I think that's a wonderful sentence, sort of, to switch to the rapid fire question. Passion brings you in good places. So we have some rapid fire questions for you. I either give you different options to choose from or a simple question, and you have to answer in one sentence. Are you ready?
Ready.
What is your favorite Batman villain?
It's Batman.
Batman itself, yeah. Beer or wine?
Beer.
How many hours of sleep did you get last night?
5.5, 6.
Lone wolf or team player?
Both. Depends on the situation.
When lone wolf and when team player?
Lone on complex things where I need to really get on my thing and to think about the problem. And team, because you cannot make a company without working with your team.
Of course. The last one, Zurich or Lausanne?
Ha! I would say Zurich.
Why? Because you still live in Lausanne, right?
Yes. Because I think that this is the big city of Switzerland first. I love Zurich. My wife is also from the Swiss German part, so we love Zurich, and we might come at one point here in Zurich. So
fantastic. Andreas, thank you so much for stopping by, for coming on the show. All the best, lots of success, and we're super excited to see what you'll be announcing in 2023.
Great. Thanks, Sylvain, for the invitation, and all the best for you too, and see you soon.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, you can support us by rating our show on Apple Podcasts. This way, we can reach an ever-growing number of aspiring entrepreneurs.